أو زد عليه ورتل القرآن ترتيلا.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My brothers and sisters, welcome back to another episode of the Know Your Tajweed series. And today, inshallah ta'ala, we'll be starting lesson 3 of the Arabic alphabet. As we said last week, this episode will be focusing more on the initial form, as it says there on the title. We'll be doing the initial forms only, as last week's episode was more of the jumble of all the forms in one page. But this time, inshallah ta'ala, we'll just be looking at the initial forms and differences and the letters that also look the same in the initial, middle, and the end of the word. So, as we can see, the original form of the letter is in black and the initial form is in orange. The first one is alif, and as you can see, alif is one of the letters that looks the same regardless of where it is in the word. Alif, as it shows here, the initial form alif and original form of alif look the same. Ba, ta, and tha look the same, as in the shape is the same in the initial form. What differentiates them is the dots. We're going to see this a lot, very frequently. Ba, ta, and tha in the initial, in the middle, and in the end of the word they're all going to look the same. In this case, in the beginning and in the middle and in the end, two other letters join this similarity, which is nun and ya. Nun and ya are also going to have the same shape. This is the importance of knowing where the dots are in the different letters that look similar. These letters all look similar, especially in these places in the word. They look all similar, only the dots differentiate them. So ba, let's remember, has a one dot below the B sound for below. Ta has 2 dots above the T sound for 2. Tha has 3 dots above the TH sound for 3 above. Let's remember that. Again, jim, ha, and kha have the same shape as well in the initial form. What differentiates them as well are the dots. So this is the importance of knowing where the dots are and how many dots they have in that position, as we can see. Dal, zal, ra, and za are sort of easy because they look the same as well. Like alif, they look the same in no matter where they are in the word, and also some of the letters don't connect. Like for example, ra. Ra, nothing connects after ra. After the ra is written, there's nothing that connects to the ra after it. The letter is always separated. Like for example, after a ra, you're supposed to have an alif. The ra, between the ra and the alif, there's going to be no connection. The ra is going to be written separately from the alif. I hope that makes sense. The za is the same as well. So dal, zal, ra, none of them are connected after. After the letter, there's no connection between that zal, dal, and ra, and za to the next letter. That will be explained further in future episodes, inshallah ta'ala. But these letters look the same no matter where they are in the word. That is helpful. Now we have bod and sod. As we said, bod and sod also, obviously they're going to look the same. Only thing that differentiates them are the dots. Then sheen and seen, the same thing. They look the same. Only thing that differentiates them are the dots. Again, sheen has 3 dots above and seen has no dots. Ta and va, again, like the other letters, they don't change. The shape doesn't change. It looks the same in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. It looks the same. The letter doesn't change. But the difference between ta, va, and dal, zal, ra, and za are that after ta and va, the letter can be connected with the letter that comes after it. That's the only difference they have. But they look the same regardless of where they are in the word. Ain and ghain, same thing. It's like the ain and the ghain is chopped from the top curve. As you can see, it goes to the bottom. In this case, do not mix the ain up with hamza. Fa, qaf look the same as well. This is where this is what I mentioned in the episode. In the episode, we're talking about the letters and how they look. Fa and qaf they look similar, the dots differentiate them, and they even close in number of dots and with the position of the dots. They both have dots above, and also fa has 1 dot above and qaf has 2 dots above. Fa, qaf and waw looked similar without the dots, like they look similar in the original form, but in the initial form, waw is like the other letters that don't connect after the waw. There's no letter that connects after it, so that's a little, that's differentiated between waw, fa and qaf. This letter is kaf. As you can see, kaf looks nothing like its original form. In the initial form, it looks nothing like the original form. Maybe you can see this wiggly small thing. It looks similar to the big kaf, but has no similarity. So this is something that we should all pay attention to, especially in the Quran. Lam, the only difference between the lam in the original form and in the initial form is a lam goes right down and back up in the original form, but in the beginning, in the initial form, it's just like a line and it looks like an L in the other way, if that makes sense. Mim and noon. As we mentioned, noon looks like ba, ta and tha. They look the same in the initial form, in the middle, and in the end. The letter takes original form, but noon, ba, ta and tha and ya as well, they all have this same shape. As you can see here, this shape, this one here, they all have that shape, ba, noon and ya and tha and ta. So let's pay attention to that. Again, the dots help you find the difference. Then, as I said, ya, you can see ya and noon, they have the same shape. Ya is the only one that has 2 dots below in all of these letters that look like this in the initial form. As we said, waw, same thing. Waw doesn't connect. That's the difference between waw and qaf and fa. Waw doesn't connect after the letter. Ha is like kaf, meaning that ha looks nothing in the original form like the initial form, and you're going to see that in the middle, because ha is one of those letters that the initial form, the middle form and the end form look nothing alike. So this is something that you just have to pay attention and look and recognize how the letter looks and where it is and how it looks in the initial, middle and the end. I forgot to mention hamza also has that shape if it's in the initial form. Also had the shape, but it has no dots. It just has the sign of hamza, which is going to be easy to recognize. That is all for lesson 3, and inshallah ta'ala, when we go to the next week's episode, we'll be looking at the forms in the letters and their forms in the middle of the word, and inshallah ta'ala, we'll also look at the differences and mention the difference between how it looks in the middle and how it looks in the initial form. Jazaakumu'Allahu Khayr. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. See you next week.